begin this edition of Trains Around Kansas City in KCS Southern's Knoche Yard with number 2972, which is a GP40-2 originally built in 1979 for the Frisco. An unusual visitor switching the KCS Southern Knoche Yard today is a Cedar Rapids and Iowa City locomotive and slug set. Number 208 and 308 were both built by Railco. Number 208 is a Railco L4-1500XD-M. This is one of 8 locomotives of this type which were all built in 2013 for Cedar Rapids and Iowa City. Number 308 is an S4-143, a slug unit that's been ballasted to weigh 143 tons. Maybe this set is down here because KCS Southern is looking to buy some. Kind of something similar they did with NRE 2009 back in 2008-2009. KCS Southern tested this unit but did not buy any gensets of their own. At Mid-America Car Inc. next to the KCS Southern Yard, I saw this ex-Amtrak Express box car, as well as former Norfolk Southern Unit 6793, an ex-Conrail SD60M which has "Do Not Feel" written on it, as well as a few others including 6749. This unit here is Georgia Southwestern number 4005, a GP40 built in 1986 for the MKT. It has changed owners many times throughout the years, and its most recent owner is the Queen and Eastern Railroad. Also on this track is a long line of EMDX SD70 ACE-T4s. I'd just call them SD74 since they have a different prime mover than all the other SD70s. The next unit in line is number 7241, and all of these units have their vents covered, so I guess they're getting new paint soon. 7241 was built in 2020. There are also units 7237 and 7222. I'm guessing these units have been bought by KCS Southern since they've been on their property for like a couple of years. This one was built in December 2019. And here's a close-up of the Graham White E-bill on one of the locomotives. I managed to see in between a couple of the units ATSF number 5704, which was recently repainted in its original red, white, and blue colors. 5704, along with its sibling SD45-2s, got this paint in 1975. The unit was renumbered 6484 and was given the Great Northern designation around 2013 and was put into storage in 2016 and moved to Argentine Yard in late 2020. In October 2021, BNSF moved the locomotive to Mid-America Car Inc. for repainting before being moved to the Southern California Railroad Museum this summer. Behind the Tier 4 units is BNSF 724, a C44-9W in the war bonnet livery, along with the GMTX 2222, a GP38-2 originally built in 1972 for the Penn Central. This KCS Southern de Mexico boxcar is pretty interesting. The car was apparently built in 1980 and has been slated for abandonment. Its wheels even have scrap painted onto it. I also caught a glimpse of Mid-America Car Inc. switching locomotive number 92 painted in an Air Force livery. I managed to get a better view of this locomotive a few weeks later. This covered hopper was also parked next to the Tier 4s. And yes, the Milwaukee Road passenger car is still here, as well as some ex-Santa Fe SD40-2s and a Sioux Line SD60. I also saw a line of ex-BNSF C44-9Ws that have been purchased by KCS Southern. Number 4457 was originally built in 1998 as number 4960, and 4462 was originally built as 4968. BNSF sold off quite a few of their Dash 9s in 2021, but quite a few still remain on the railroad. Here are some other assorted freight cars that I saw in Knoche Yard. Here's KCS Southern 4362, an SW1500. Now we move on to Union Pacific's Neff Yard, with an AC6000 CW on the left and an SD70M to the right. UPY696 is a GP15-1 originally built for the Missouri Pacific. 8342 is an SD70 and 1578 is an SD40-2, some unusual power for this group of stored units. And this SD60M has been sold off. There's not only stored locomotives in this yard, but there are also stored auto racks, including this all-yellow one that I've never seen before. One of the auto racks is missing some of its screens. At Avondale Yard is NS7108, an SD60 built in 1991. At Murray Yard is BNSF 2346, a GP38-2 originally built for the Frisco. HLCX 3890 is also a GP38-2, but was originally built for the Missouri Pacific. 1050 is an ex-Milwaukee Road GP40. Along with B40-8W number 549 still in its war bonnet livery. On the point of awaiting mixed freight is BNSF ES44C4's 8247 and 6730. There are also two BNSF GP39-3s and an NS-SD70 Ace, along with 1427, an SD60M built in 1991 for the Burlington Northern, and another GEVO and Dash 9. There are also Kansas Southern units 4174, an SD70 Ace, and 4834, an ES44 AC. A former ATSF GP39-2 and ex-BN GP50 are tied together. I also spotted this unusual cut of 3 coal cars and a CP rail covered hopper. Leaving Murray Yard is a train with BNSF 6755 and ES44C4, and Canadian National 3957, an ex-Cedar rail ES44AC. I also got a couple pictures of the construction barges planning to work on the Buck O'Neill Bridge. I do hope to photograph some riverboats in action here on the Missouri River, as well as the L1011 TriStar on display at the National Airline History Museum. The mid-train DPU in this mixed freight is 6786, an AC44CW. In Argentine Yard, we see BNSF 2641, a GP35 originally built for the Santa Fe. 3874 is an ET44C4. There is also this CIT Jeep parked between two Dash 9s. BNSF 2749 is a GP39E originally built in 1962 for the nickel plate as a GP30. 7865 is an ES44DC. I believe the two blue units in this picture are from the Southwestern Railroad located in New Mexico. SD40-2 1693 wore the number 6822 for the longest time. I also saw an H1 and Norfolk Southern Dash 9s being fueled up, as well as B40-8W number 504.